Welcome to the SOB radio show, where we have fun, interesting guests, and hot topics. Each week, we offer insights into music, fashion, health, fitness, and humor. Do you have the perfect guest for us to interview? I want to know. Drop me a line on our Facebook page at Spunky Old Broad 1 or reach out to me on our website at spunkyoldbroad.com. And now, back to the show.
I'm back with Olympia Hostler, and Olympia is someone who is able to help you with your money planning, and she is the CEO's trusted growth expert. And she's got a lot of background and history to give her the qualifications. But I'm going to ask her now, how can I rewrite my money story into a love story with a happy ending? I mean, that sounds pretty juicy.
Totally possible for you, Gayle. Totally possible for anyone, actually. So we go through life, and it's usually not such a love story, but we can make it a love story because stories are what we make up, right? It's partly our imagination. It's the conclusions that we come to based on whatever is happening or not happening. And so what those stories are based on are our programming that we were talking about in the earlier part of this show. And our programming is affecting our mindset, body set, and heart set. And all three of those are the sources that are creating the money blocks that are creating the story that is keeping us from having a love story with a happy ending. So we talked about the fight, flight, freeze response that's happening. That's in the body. So we need to reset the nervous system that's in the body. We also need to build new neural pathways in the brain part of the body so that we can have that love story. We also need to change and eradicate that programming in our unconscious mind, not the conscious mind, because so many people think that they can just change their mind by changing their thoughts. But thoughts are the fifth of 7 steps of how you do money. And if you try to change at the 5th step, the steps 1 through 4, which are back in the unconscious mind, if you don't change those, you're just really not going to have any kind of sustainability with that. So we want to change at the unconscious mind to flip that switch on, flip your money switch on. And then we also need to change in the heart set, which is about changing that receiving muscle so that it starts working again and getting back into community, because we as women, we are wired to be in community. We do our best work. We feel our best. We are our best people when we're in community. So that's what we need to do. Change those 3 at their source. Then we'll have a love story with a happy ending.
Well, I never really thought about it, but in reality, if I am worried about money, if I am worried about paying my bills, if I'm worried, although at this age, hopefully our kids are gone, although I just heard this morning on a newscast that they're moving back. So they had been moving back over the last many years, but now it's really, they're coming back. But if we can't put food in our mouths or in our families' mouths, because many people live in a multi-generational family, that is enough to affect our mindset. And then when our mindset is not correct, it really does play on our health, because that's our body. Mm-hmm. And it's all related. And that's why it's so important to keep that positive mindset. No matter what's going on around you, you've got to keep the positive mindset. If you don't have a positive mindset, you're almost sunk before you start. So that is a key. But supposing, okay, I did everything right. Okay, Olympia, I have the systems, I have the tools, I have the team. So why am I not a billionaire?
Ha! Ha! We are cooking with gas now, Gayle. Not a billionaire, because you can have all the systems, the tools, the team, but if you don't have your money blocks cleared, you're not going to be able to take advantage of those. You're not going to be able to belly up to the bar and do those things. You're just not going to be able to do them. If you think about Maslow's hierarchy of needs, his pyramid, where at the bottom are the most basic needs, things like food, water, and air. Like, how long is a person going to stay alive if they don't have air? It's about a minute and a half. You can live about 30 days without food, and you can live a few days without water. So that's the bottom rung. And then you go up to shelter, and then you go up to love, and eventually you end up at self-actualization. But the point is, there are these levels of basic human needs. Each level must be met. It is essential to meet that need before the next need up on the rung can be met. So when we're talking about having a successful business and making money, that's a lot higher up on the rung. Let's just paint a little scenario. So let's say you are gasping for air and you can't breathe. Are you going to be interested in a tool or a system or a team member going, oh, hey, we need to implement this? No, you're not. You're going to be interested in your next breath. And if you haven't eaten in a week, your thoughts, your actions are going to be focused very highly on getting yourself some food, not on let me make some money so I can get the food. You're going to do what it takes to get some food. Like, you might be eating some grass. So that's a kind of a very poignant example, but that is really what's going on, is that if we're not having our needs met, and part of why we're not having our needs met is because of this virus programming that we have, we're doing it to ourselves. It's a self-sabotaging effect. Then it's like a dog looking into a meat market, and he would love to have that meat, but it's not available because he's on the outside. It's the same thing. You can't get to those tools and systems if you are blocking yourself.
Well, that's probably why many people who do win the lottery are broke 6 months later, because they're buying all these things that they've always wanted, they thought, or they're investing in things that people have gotten them into, and they're broke. They don't have a plan. They don't have a methodology, and it makes a big difference because it does reflect back on where they've been. So if I want to massively scale my business right now, what's my next right step?
Okay, this is a twofold answer. One is it depends on your stage of business, because businesses that are startups would have one particular strategy. Businesses who are more established would have another. But then it also is dependent on your personality somewhat, and your ability to do certain things. Like, some people are deathly afraid of video. So although video is a great way to massively scale your business right now, and by the way, 70% of people prefer to consume their content on video. But if you personally are adverse to that, then that's not going to be a good strategy for you. You need to do something else. But 3 of my top strategies in general are using LinkedIn very strategically. I have a whole system for that. Going on YouTube and using YouTube as a lead generation tool, and then also being a guest on podcasts. Hello, that's a great way to get out in front of a variety of people right now. Even though people can't get on stages physically, they can get out and talk to people on podcasts and radio shows like we're doing here. So it's a matter of fitting the step to what's right for you and what's right for your business. And that's where a lot of people go south, Gayle, is they try to have a one size fits all. or they just throw the spaghetti on the wall and they're like, I'll try this and I'll try that and I'll try this. And then whichever one works is the one I'll go with. Well, that's not the best business strategy. It's better to pick a good one from the beginning and just stick with that, or possibly two good ones. But you really don't want to get spread yourself too thin, because then none of them are going to work well.
Well, of course, what you're saying is you need a plan or a strategy. And of course, the things that you're sticking up against the wall are what people call tactics. And unfortunately, too many of us use tactics. Oh, this is the latest thing. This is the latest thing. This is the latest thing. But we don't have a strategy. But on the other hand, Olympia, there are a lot of gurus, and I'm going to call them gurus, who suggest that social media is a waste of time. So you're talking about LinkedIn, you're talking about Facebook, you're talking about YouTube, and of course, new ones come up every day. I mean, those are I use LinkedIn, I use Facebook, I use Twitter, and I have my podcasts on YouTube. But that's it, because first of all, it's not my audience. The younger generation skews to the other things, and yet they are time consuming, and you sometimes go down the rabbit hole when you're on those. So what's your philosophy on that?
Yeah, exactly. So social media, you need to pick wisely. Pick wisely for yourself, for your target market. Like, where is your target market? Every decision you're ever going to make about lead generation, which is what you need to get sales, you have to consider your target audience, because you don't want to just go get on a podcast or a radio show that's about poodle grooming when you're a business strategist, like unless you're talking about poodle grooming businesses. But you need to really do that strategic matchmaking. But then in addition to that is you really must make a decision and stick with it. You cannot be on all of them. I mean, you can, but you're not going to do it well. You're going to dilute your efforts. Your time is going to be sucked up, or you're going to be paying a fortune to somebody to try to do it, and it's just not going to be done well. So for myself, those are the three that I'm doing, and I'm really only just getting into YouTube right now. But if you have to ask yourself, because the gurus also say, oh, you need your email list, which is true. You do need an email list, because your social media, you can get locked into Facebook jail in a heartbeat and have no clue why you got there, and they're not going to tell you why. You may or may not get your account back. You don't know. You just wait and see if they throw it back over the fence to you. So you do need an email list, but I have to ask everybody this: how the heck do you get people on your email list? You got to have some social media. Or if you have a different business strategy, some people, they just say, no, I'm not doing social media. All I'm going to do is one-on-one services, and I'm just going to have strategy calls, and that's all I'm going to do. And that's a strategy too. You can do that. You're not going to get you're not going to be able to really scale, because again, you'll be limited by your time, that unrenewable resource. So it's all a decision. It's a decision of how you're going to invest your valuable resources. Just like if you were investing in the stock market, you're going to research each one of those stocks, and you're going to have a risk profile. Like if you're over 50, which I am, you are, your listeners are, you're probably not going to be investing in those risky stocks that you used to invest in when in your 30s or even 40s. You're going to pick something else. You're going to pick something more stable. So it's the same thing with how are you going to pick your lead generation strategies.
Well, and it's interesting because the over 50 crowd also, the other area to fall back on, which is very popular now because it's unpopular now, is direct mail, because people over 50 still like to get their mail and they still open it. And, direct mail, it's since you're not getting as much mail, when you get something, you do open it. So it's another philosophy. So I need to avoid being sucked into this busyness and distraction. I call it a distraction vortex. and start supercharging my success. Because someone asked the other day, and I had to ask myself this too, am I just busy or am I accomplishing anything? Because, you can be busy all day doing nothing. And are you really accomplishing anything? So my son called me last night and he said, Mom, I don't dare call you during the day because you're always busy. And, I am, because I'm on conference calls, or I'm doing a presentation, or I'm enrolled in some kind of program, or whatever it is. So how do I avoid being sucked into this busyness and this distraction vortex and start supercharging my success?
Okay, number one would be to clear those money blocks out of your mindset, body set, and heart set so that you can reset your nervous system, because it's your nervous system that is driving that busyness train. Because if you think about busy is movement, whether you're physically moving or not. Your mind is moving. You got a lot of balls up in the air, and it's trying to keep you moving. Or some people, it manifests as being stuck. You literally can't get yourself away from the video games or from binge watching whatever TV shows. You have to get out of that fight flight mode so that you don't feel like you're being chased by that saber-toothed tiger 24/7, or feel like your house is burning and you've got to get out of your house. It's the same thing. So that's step one. Then you also need to have systems. We're back to that, a plan, but you need systems to put that plan into place to make it easier for you, and have a system of follow-up, have a system of sales, of lead generation. And then here's another one people don't often think of, Gayle. It's called self-care. Self-care, taking care of you and your basic needs, those needs we spoke about that Maslow knew way back when. If you're not taking care of yourself, you are experiencing wear and tear on your mind, your body, and your heart, and you are making that whole nervous system situation worse. And by the way, you're going to burn out, or you're going to give yourself a major health problem. Something bad is going to happen. There's going to be a crisis. And why not make it easy on yourself? Why not just give yourself some self-care? Like for myself, I just started swimming again. I found in my neighborhood here in Southern California, I could still go to the pool. So I'm going every other day to swim, and I feel like a goddess while I'm swimming. And then when I'm done, I don't have the back pain or the hip pain from sitting, on Zoom or Skype, whatever it is that I'm doing all day. And I'm just taking care of myself. My body feels great. My mind feels expansive. I get these creative bursts. Right after I swim, I'm like, where is my notepad? I need to take some notes on this. So,
well, I understand that totally. I understand that because I work out every day for an hour. I used to work out 2 hours a day when I went to the gym, because I would take a class and then I would do my own routine before that. But now, of course, I don't go to the gym, so I just work out in my apartment for an hour. And I switch it up. I have routines. I've had so many trainers. I switch my routine every 30 days. And then, I do a certain amount of things. Now, I cannot tell you I'm in as good a shape as I was, because, doing the classes and working the machines and doing everything I did, I really was, I was a Silver Sneakers Fitness Award winner. So you can imagine I was in really good shape. Mm-hmm. Now I'm a lot softer. I'm a lot softer because I also zipped all day. I was zipping here and zipping there and here and there. And I think my car has 3,000 miles on it, and it's really going to have to groan to get to 4,000 because I'm not driving anywhere. So I totally agree that it is time to, you've got to have time for yourself. So whatever it is. And folks, I know there are those of you out there, because I hear you saying, well, I can't do this because I've got this pain and that pain and this, but you can do work from your chair. There are all kinds of exercises you can do from your chair. In fact, I did a TV segment in Phoenix on working out from your chair. So there
Mhm.
are things that you can do from your chair. So you can either use a lot of excuses or you can do something. And what Olivia is saying, because swimming and walking are two of the best things you can do. Other people, I was a big swimmer, but now our pool is closed, so I'm not swimming. When I had my own pool, I used to swim all the time, but I am working out all the time. So I agree. It gives you a whole different mental attitude on how you approach things. And I think that's really a key. And so, when we're talking about things like money, you'll notice that Olympia has brought up, it's not just about money. It's about your mindset. It's about your blocks. It's about your attitude. It's about everything. I mean, it's just so many things. So, first of all, Olympia not only has these 30 wonderful videos on YouTube for you, but she's got a quiz to discover your money blocks that you can take for free at mymoneyblocks.com. So Olympia, tell people how to get in touch with you. Tell them how you prefer, for them to contact you, and so forth.
All right. I can be found on a couple of different things. One is LinkedIn. I'm the only Olympia Hostler on LinkedIn, Hostler. I am also the only Olympia Hostler on Facebook. And if you want to just email me, it's olympia@womenchoosewealth.com. That's my website, womenchoosewealth.com. And I'm always happy to answer questions or point people in the right direction. I love to have friendly conversations with people. So feel free to call me, connect with me. I love that. I live for that.
Fantastic. That's great. And of course, if anybody is looking for me, you can find me at spunkyoldbroad.com. My courses are at sobuniversity.com. And of course, I'd love for you to join my Facebook group, which is on, you can go to groups and it's under Virtual SOB Club. And I also have a store now of my merchandise and so forth. So you can find that as well on my website. So there's a whole bunch of things that you can do to contact either Olympia or me. The important thing is, and I think this is so important, and that is to really sit down and say, what am I about? And what are my blocks? Whether they're money or whether it's fitness or whether it's engagement, or I want to start a business? Am I too old? Am I too young? Whatever the question is, sit down and take a look at yourself and see what the best thing for you is. Now we have a few minutes left, Olympia. We're at the end of our show. Do you have any last minute advice or anything we haven't covered that you think is important for our audience to know?
Yes, I do. Thank you for opening it back up again, Gayle. You can do anything you want to do, and you can reinvent yourself at any age. I have reinvented myself several times. I've been in 5 major accidents, and I've had 5 major concussions. And at one of those, I was pronounced dead. On one of the other ones, I wished I was dead. I was in so much pain. And I just kept the belief that I was going to get better. And then once I got better, I realized what my purpose was. And my purpose is to help other people to have successful businesses so that they can have the freedom they want, and then they can help other people. It's like the old Calgon commercials. You tell 2 people and they tell 2 people. So I just want to spread the message of hope and belief that you can do it at any age. So you can get started whenever you're ready.
Well, I can concur, Olympia. I haven't had concussions, but I am going through now my 4th case of breast cancer. I am on chemo, and I keep going no matter what. I've had 16 surgeries, and I just keep going. So, and by keeping going, you keep going. So that's what Olympia said. I mean, a concussion where, wow, she was dead and brought back to life. One time she wished she was dead. So look, folks, there's help for all of us. Don't don't get lost in your own story. Don't get lost in your own situation. Both Olympia and I, we're in this to help people. We are in this because we want to have an impact. We are in this because we want to make a difference. So hopefully Olympia has helped you today. Thank you so much for listening. Olympia, thank you so much for being here. And folks, stay tuned to SOB Radio.
Hi, this is Dr. Gayle, and I wanted you to know I have a whole bunch of other things to offer you. If you go to spunkyoldbroad.com, you will see an array of SOB stuff for sale and all our latest products and additions. If you're interested in getting on TV, I have a brand new course, Get on TV. And if you want to start your own business, you'll want my SOB Guide to Business Success. I know you'll love them all. I guarantee it.